Okay, we're going to continue with D, E, and F. We have the values of C and D. I underlined them with colors so you can see where I'm going to plug them in. So remember when you see 2C, 2C is just 2 times C, right? So we're going to use parentheses to do 2 and parentheses C. I like the color coding. 2C minus 4D. We're going to keep plugging them in, sorry. So we're going to plug in C and D. We're going to keep everything else the same. So 2 times C and 4 times D, okay? So C is 8. D is -5, okay? We're going to keep going. So we have to multiply before we subtract. So we're going to multiply 2 times 8, which is 16. We're going to bring down the minus, and we're going to multiply 4 times -5. Well, 4 times 5 is 20, right? And there's one negative means you'll get -20. And the reason why I did parentheses is because when you're subtracting a negative, those two cancel out to become a positive, right? You add the opposite, that becomes 16 plus 20, which is 36. Letter E. So we're trying to find D minus C squared. So first, let's just plug everything in. Step 1 is plug it all in exactly as it's written. D is -5, and I'm going to use parentheses just to help keep everything separate. Minus C squared. So I'm going to use the parentheses. C is 8. And I'll use my little squared, and I'm going to put that in parentheses. Okay, now we have to follow PEMDAS. Well, parentheses, but there's nothing to do inside them. That's why I just put a number in there. But there's exponents. 8 squared. Remember, 8 squared is the same thing as 8 times 8. Okay? I'm just going to keep writing that. Rewrite it. So 8 times 8 minus 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so now what do? We have to use positive, negative numbers here. It's all confusing. Well, all we have to do is when you're subtracting a positive, remember you want to change it to an addition problem. So it becomes -5. You're adding the opposite. Well, there was a minus a positive number, so now you're going to add a negative number. And that would be when you're adding two negative numbers, you add the numbers and keep the sign. Last but not least, it's a long video. I am not going to do F, but I will let you try and plug it in. So you'll just plug in everywhere you see this. D, you'll put -5, and you'd square that one, plus 5 times -5. And you'd solve it that way, but I'm not going to solve it.